going on, everybody? It's Overjoyed. You're coming at you with a brand new video, and it looks like tonight we've gotten some more stuff revealed, and that is the shark support coming out of, I think it's the next core set, Rage of the Abyss. That's what I believe it is, and this is kind of crazy because this is 9 cards worth of support, and that's a lot of support for an archetype that's gotten a lot of support throughout the years. It also happens to be the cover archetype, which of course they have to do something anime related, and so why not just use Zexal? Hopefully this still means we're getting Mermail support though. But yeah, like I said, there's 9 cards, including number C32 Shark Drake Leviathan, because we just can't get enough number cards apparently. And I'm not going to waste any more time, I'm going to go ahead and go right into this. So starting off we have Surfacing Big Jaws, so a Big Jaws retrain is pretty funny. It's a level 4 water fish with 1800 attack and 300 defense, and you can only use each effect once per turn. The first and second effect once per turn. During your main phase, if a spell card was activated this turn, you can special it from your hand. Also, you cannot special summon from the extra deck for the rest of the turn, except Xyz monsters. If it's normal or special summon, you can add 1 fish shark monster from your deck to your hand, and if it's used as the Xyz summon for a water monster, it can be a 3 or 5. Wow, so we finally got it! This is the very first card to turn shark into an archetype, instead of just a series of cards. Wow, that's crazy. Even ignoring that, this is a really strong card, by the way. Really easy swarming, especially in an archetype that's probably going to be using a lot of spells in order to, like, get access into their Xyz monsters. Not to mention, this can add things like Abyss Shark or any other Shark extender, because, let's be real, Shark has a lot of extenders, and they're probably going to get even more in those wave of support. And this makes it incredibly versatile. Again, I think Abyss Shark has the same thing except for numbers, but this being on a lot of Shark monsters is really helpful because that means you can flex into a bunch of different plays, and this says any water monster, not just numbers, so you can make Bahamut Shark with it as well, which is really good. Next up, we have Drake Shark. Very simple name. Wonder if it's got any beef with Kendrick Shark. It's a water fish level 4 with 100 attack and 1050 defense, interestingly enough. You can only use the first and second effect once per turn. If it's added to your hand, except by drawing it, you can special summon it. If it's used as a material for a water monster that uses 3 or more, it can be treated as 2 materials. And a Shark Drake Xyz monster that has this card as material gains this effect. Once per turn, you can attach 2 materials from this card, then target 1 spell or trap on the field, and attach it to this card as material. So this, of course, combos with the Shark Drake and C32 Shark Drake Vice, which require 3 or 4 level 4 waters respectively. To be fair, those cards aren't, like, super great in my opinion, even if they were, like, 2 level 4s, so not too amazing, though of course we are getting the new Shark Drake Xyz as well. I really like that this allows it to be used as multiple materials for something, though it's not something we really see too often, if at all, actually. In terms of Xyz archetypes, because there's a lot of them that like want 3 or 4 materials or whatever, and they can end up struggling unless they like rank up into those. I also really like the summoning conditions. I'm a huge fan of Lapis Dragon / Poplar kind of effects. So I think this is really good. Next up, we have Armored Shark, which looks like a Spear Shark retrain. It's a water fish level 3 with 500 attack and 2000 defense. It's always treated as an Armored Xyz card, so I believe that means you can add this off of the Xyz Armored Torpedo, or not Torpedo, but Fortress, sorry. You can only use the first and second event once per turn. You can send 1 water Xyz from your extra to the grave, and then target a fish in your grave with a level different or equal to the sent monster's rank, and special summon it. And during your opponent's turn, if it's in your grave, quick effect, you can target 1 water Xyz you control, and equip this card to it as an equip spell that gives it 500 attack. So this, of course, synergizes really well with the Xyz armor cards. So if you didn't know, Xyz armor, Dark Knight one, like basically the Dark Knight, whatever his name is. Full Armored Dark Knight Lancer, that's his name. It gets an effect in case something is equipped to him. You can attach one of your opponent's monsters as material non-targeting, which is insanely strong, by the way. And also, he has an effect that allows you to add Xyz armor cards back to your hand, or in this case, extra deck, which typically, for example, I play Goblin, I use it to bounce the Xyz Armor Torpedo back into my extra deck for a big rank 3 for a draw effect later on. And so what you can do is you can use this to send an Xyz Armor Torpedo or something like that, and then return it back to the extra deck with the Full Armored Dark Knight Lancer later. I really like this card. Well, here is the brand new number C32 Shark Drake Leviathan. It is a water sea serpent Xyz rank 5 with 3100 attack and 2600 defense that requires 4 level 5 monsters, but you can also Xyz summon it by discarding a spell and using a rank 4 Shark Drake Xyz you control and transfer some materials to this card. Once per turn, quick effect, you can attach a material from this card and target one effect monster your opponent controls, negate its effects, and if you do, change its attack and defense to 0. It can make a second attack during each battle phase, and if it attacks a defense position monster, it does piercing. I mean, it seems like a pretty solid card. It gives Shark something to actually end on that's a negate that isn't literally just the Toad, so you can actually make something in its own archetype. Of course, you're going to be trying to make this utilizing the new main deck Shark Drake, using its effect to be 2 Xyz material for the regular Shark Drake, so you can use it plus any level 4 and then a spell in hand to go into this, which is pretty neat. And I'm assuming because a few things in this wave have been involving spells so far, they're either going to get their own rank up magic kind of thing, or they're going to just get another solid spell, one that has an effect in the graveyard. It looks like we have a Leviathan Dragon retrain being Virtue Dragon. It is a Water Sea Serpent rank 3 with 2000 attack and 0 defense that requires 2 level 3s, and you can only use each effect once per turn. If it's special summon, you can add a Virtue Stream from your deck to your hand, which I'm assuming is a new card, and you can activate one of these effects. Detach a material from your monster to add 1 Fish, Sea Serpent, or Aqua from your graveyard to your hand, except Virtue Dragon, or target 2 Xyz monsters on the field and detach 1 material from one of them and attach it to the other as material. I'm assuming the Virtue Stream, like I said, is a new card, and it's probably going to be a very strong one, probably the spell card that I mentioned, but in terms of its second effect, I think that it is pretty solid. Being able to get some graveyard recursion is really, really cool. Does suck you can't use both effects in the same turn, but the second effect with the target 2 Xyz monsters on the field doesn't seem like it's going to be too crazy in my opinion at all, so not a huge deal. This could be really helpful for some non-Shark decks though. I mean, maybe I might tinker with it in Mermail, I don't know. The first new spell is Surface Aqua Jet, which an Aqua Jet retrain isn't expected, not gonna lie. It is a normal spell that says you can only use these first and second effect of this card's name once per turn. It says special a level 4 or lower Fish, Sea Serpent, or Aqua from your hand or graveyard, and if you do, you cannot special from the extra deck while you control it except Xyz monsters. And if your opponent controls an attack position monster, you can banish it from your graveyard, then target 1 Fish, Sea Serpent, or Aqua you control, and it gains 1000 attack until the end of the turn. So it's basically Monster Reborn slapped on top of a better Aqua Jet. So that's already really cool right off the bat. Aqua Jet's really nostalgic for me as someone that kind of cobbled together that really bad Atlantean structure as a kid. But it's also a pretty solid set of effects. I mean, even ignoring the second effect being helpful when you put it in the graveyard off of something like your new Shark Drake, the first effect being a Monster Reborn is really appreciated in a rank 4 focus deck, or just an Xyz focus deck, period, sorry. But even though you're locked into Xyz, it doesn't really matter. Everything else does that anyway for Sharks. So a really great piece of recursion plus extension. Next up is Reincarnate Unveil Mail, sorry. It is an equip spell. It's always treated as an armored Xyz, and you can only activate 1 per turn. An Xyz monster equipped with it gains these effects, that it cannot be destroyed by battle, and once per turn, if this card battled this turn, you can return 1 equip card equipped to this card to the hand. Oh my god, the tongue twisters here. And then immediately after this effect resolves, Xyz summon a water, and if it's sent to the graveyard, you can activate this effect to equip it from your graveyard to an Xyz you control during the end phase of this turn. So it's kind of like a Draco back or any of the other adventure equip spells in that way. So I think that's really, really neat, especially because you're definitely supposed to pitch this off of the Shark Drake and then immediately equip it during the end phase, which is really good, and it combos really well with the Armored Xyz cards. Again, Xyz Armor Fortress can search this directly from the deck, which is huge. The protection is also really nice on top of the Shark Drake, already having that really solid imperm effect, and being able to additionally battle is really cool, and it recycles itself for another pitch later. Another really solid card, even though it's probably just a one of. So here is the Virtue Stream. It's actually a trap card, and a normal trap specifically, that you can only use each effect of once per turn. Target 1 Fish, Sea Serpent, or Aqua you control, and 2 cards your opponent controls and destroy them. So basically just a Sword Soul Blackout or an Icarus attack. And you can banish it from your grave and target 1 face-up monster in the field to apply this effect based on its attribute. If it's a water, the next time will be destroyed by card effect this turn. It is not. Or if it's a non-water, its attribute becomes water. So not too sure about how much of the applications for the second effect, especially for the non-water one, considering things that would already want to get rid of water monsters like a Shark Kraken or whatever it is. Is it Shark Kraken? Stealth Kraken, I'm sorry. It's Stealth Kraken, right? Or maybe I'm completely wrong and I'm completely forgetting the name of the rank 4 water. Oh, I'm so sorry. It's Stealth Kraken. But I mean, regardless, it's a searchable Icarus attack that, again, considering I was already thinking of the Virtue Dragon in Mermail or something, this being searchable basically on summon of that card, that's pretty sick. So yeah, a solid piece of disruption. And the final card is Xyz Poseidon Splash, which is Not quite a retrain of Aqua Wave. I think it's another Poseidon card. Yeah, Poseidon Wave. Oh my god, all these classic cards being retrained is so cool to me. I love like every single one of these cards as a kid. It was so cool. But this is a normal trap that says you can only use either the first or second effect once per turn. Per turn and only once that turn. If you control an Xyz that has an Xyz as material, declare one attribute among monsters in the field and destroy all monsters in the field with that attribute that are not equipped with an equip spell, so that's probably the point of the Virtue Stream, though you could also do that with Stealth Kraken. Or you can banish it from grave and detach a material from your monster to special one fish, sea serpent, or aqua from your graveyard to either field. Few different applications here, but it's not really... Oh no, I was gonna say it's not a searchable card, but it has Xyz in the name, so it is definitely searchable, but I'm not sure exactly how worth it it'll be. It's a little bit too specific in my opinion, which is a bit of a shame because I think this artwork is just absolutely gorgeous and kicks so much ass. So that's it for the shark support coming out of Rage of the Abyss. What do I think about it? Holy shit, this is actually an insane wave for such a deck that's like teetering on the edge of actually being something good. I mean, Sharks have always been kind of like an okay rogue option. At least they have been since their last wave of support out of Duels from the Deep, which actually might have been even before that. But they usually go for like a double Toad plus Draco future play, which was, it sounds good on paper, but it's a lot harder to pull off than some people might think. Also, if they didn't do that, they'd try to fall back on like Crooked Cook or something, which wasn't really great. But this actually pulls it all together really cohesively by giving them actual consistency. It's not just generic stuff, it actually mentions sharks, finally turning them into an archetype and giving them a lot of really sick consistency. This is also a really great amount of extension that also helps boost the new playstyle of the deck or what they're trying to do. These work with all of the armored Xyz cards, which are awesome because those cards are actually really strong, and helping them focus on that is really good. The new Shark Drake Leviathan is a really solid piece of disruption that's actually fairly simple to summon. I mean, even if you don't go the easy route, you could technically still go the hard route by using things like the Abyss Shark and the new Big Jaws as well. La Virtue Dragon plus Virtue Stream is a really solid combo, both for disruption as well as consistency boosting, and I really like cards like the Surface Aqua Jet and the Reincarnate Unveil Male. Both of these are really strong spell cards for the deck. The only disappointing card, quote-unquote, from this support is the Xyz Poseidon Splash. I think it's a bit too niche to actually be, like, useful, but I'm not a Shark player, I just play other water decks, really, everything but Shark. But Shark players, tell me in the comments, what do you think about this support, because I think this is actually pretty damn cracked and might actually give Shark a pathway to success in the meta. But I don't know, that's just my opinion. Let me know in the comments below, because that's going to do it for the video. If you liked it, please sure leave a like, as I'll put this video and the channel into the YouTube recommended. And if you guys kind of like the rest of my review series, they're definitely dropping a lot more stuff for me to review. Hopefully there more support coming soon now that they review this. Then perhaps consider subscribing and turning on notifications, because support your channel or anything else, and it's absolutely free. Also, I'm going to support you directly getting some awesome TCG merchandise in the process. Check out Tapio cards, link down below. Use code Aurora5 for 5% off your purchase at checkout, and support me financially. Also, want to support me financially with getting some other cool benefits, such as early video access and Sleeper Sunday votes. Then check out my Patreon, also in the description. But with that being said, thank you all so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one. This is Aurora, signing off.